One of the questions I hear asked frequently is whether or not you can grow palm trees and other exotics here in Central Texas. So we're here in our gardens in Austin area, and I thought I'd walk around, and the answer to that question is yes, of course you can. There's plenty of exotic species, palm species that will grow here in Central Texas just fine, unprotected. So right in front of me is one good example. So this is actually a windmill palm. So this could be purchased at most of the large retail big box stores. I actually have this one tied up because it had a little lean to it, so that I've had to fix. But generally, these are extremely cold hardy palms that will do just fine and unprotected here in Central Texas in our zone. And we're on the 8B zone here. So they'll do just completely fine. I don't protect these, let them go. They've actually seen a little bit of snow a few years ago. This particular palm is, I believe, about 4 years old. So you can see it's gotten pretty hot, pretty tall already. Actually, right next to that is one of our bananas. And bananas, depending on the species, will do as well, very well here in Central Texas as well too. So I do typically wrap the bananas. What I'll do is cut off all the tops. I'll wrap that in some bubble wrap, but generally speaking, bananas will do just fine. So I've got lots of other ones. I'll kind of give you a quick walk around. We grow a lot of different types. This is actually a California fan palm, or a Folifera. Now, this actually might be a hybrid mix between a Folifera and a Robusta palm. So Mexican fan palm and California fan palm. So, but it has a lot of the characteristics of the California fan palm. So a lot of those threads. But these actually will do extremely well. One of the most popular palms that you'll see around in Central Texas as well. But this is one of the palms I wanted to show. Now this is actually a European fan palm. It's referred to as a Camarops humilis palm. This is one of the most cold hardy palms and very, very popular palms. It's very slow growing, does not get very large, but will do extremely well here in Central Texas. Now I have numerous of these types of palms all over our property, and these have never been protected in any way, shape, or form. In extreme cold cases, you'll see some of the leaves might get a little bit of damage, but generally speaking, these are pretty cold hardy and cold proof here in Central Texas. And they're also really prolific seed generators. So if I take you down here and take a look, you can see all the seeds that's actually generating and producing. So each one of those fruits has a little seed in it, and you can just go ahead and plant. So that is a European fan palm that's been growing. If I kind of spin around really quickly, that is a pygmy date palm, and you can see that it's in the ground as well too. These typically are a little bit more, have a little trouble surviving some of our cold weather, but this one in particular has been in the ground about 3 years now, and has been, I do give it a little bit of protection, but generally speaking, it does well. It's got a light feathery type of palm leaf to it, so it's really nice and pretty. It kind of sits nice here next to our waterfall, or water feature, but that does well. Behind that is a yucca, and that yuccas will do very well here as well. If I spin back around, here's another example of a windmill palm. You can see they actually get quite tall. So, and you can see that like the European fan palms, these also produce a lot of seeds. So we grow and a lot of these here on in our gardens. So that's another example of a female windmill palm. And then right next to it is another. This is actually what's called a needle palm. Needle palms are probably one of the most cold hardy palms. They're smaller, more of a bushing style palms. This won't get really tall, although this one is probably a little bit, if you look at the overall height, I'd say it's a little bit over, almost up to 6 feet tall. But again, this needle palms, and I'll give you a little bit of peek so you can understand why we call them needle palms. So the trunk is wrapped in these incredibly long, very, very sharp spines. Generally, these aren't really a problem as long as you stay far away from them. In fact, you can see in there this one's actually starting to flower or seed. This is another good example of a really good cold hardy palm that can live here in Central Texas without any type of protection whatsoever. If I spin back around as well here, this is actually a Pindo palm, more commonly referred to, has a lot of different names, but jelly palm. These are also extremely cold hardy. This one has been in the ground for about 2 years and is doing very well. Had a little trouble with some of it, the ground. I think I need to add some fertilizer on it, but this is another palm that you'll find in your local box stores or your local nurseries that does extremely well and really requires very little protection here in Central Texas. So anyways, that's just a quick example of some of the many different types of palms that are on our property that you can grow here in Central Texas. And with little to no protection, you can have a beautiful palmy exotic garden by just choosing the right plants. Cheers.